Get negative 2 minutes or less, I think.
2 minutes or less, I think.
Minute or less, I think. Minute or less.
Oh, goody. Read faster, gotta make up 8 minutes.
Test. Test.
Good, just one time. Good.
All right. For those who are joining us
All right.
online,
For those who are joining us online,
For those who are joining us online. Those who are joining us online. Those who are joining us online.
test.
test.
All right. For those joining us online,
All right.
apologize,
For
we had some
those
technical
joining us
difficulties.
online,
We're going to try to
apologize,
get
we
through
had
it.
some technical
With that,
difficulties.
I'll
We're
turn
gonna
the
try to
floor
get
over
through
to
it.
the chair.
With that, I'll turn the floor
Hereby
over to
call the
chair.
July 12th, 2023 Rockbridge County Planning Commission meeting to order. Begin with the roll call. Commission Member Hennis, I'm here. Commission Member Kramer. Commission Member Lucas, absent. Commission Member Whitmore.
Here.
Commission Member Watkins. In addition to citizens attending the meeting in person, citizens have several options to view or participate in the Zoom meeting webinar as described below. We will do our best to take citizen comment remotely. There are 2 options for citizens to offer comment. One, to join the Rockbridge County Planning Commission's webinar. The link is available on the county website to copy into the address line on your browser. To join by telephone, you may dial into one of the numbers listed on the county website. Webinar ID and password are there for your convenience. Citizens wishing to simply view the meeting live or after the fact can do so on the Rockbridge County Planning Commission YouTube channel, also available on the county website. If you wish to make a citizen comment as a Zoom meeting participant, you will use the raise your hand feature. You can press the raise hand button on the bottom of your Zoom window or press *9 if you're calling in by telephone. This time, we proceed with the meeting. To begin with citizen comments, these are anything not listed on the agenda if they're related to anything not on the agenda. Do we have anyone physically present to speak? Okay, with no one here present to speak, do we have anyone who wishes to make citizen comments via Zoom or by phone?
Find out. There are
We'll
no
find
hands
out.
raised at this time.
There are no hands raised at this
Moving
time.
on to agenda item 3, approval of the June 14th, 2023 meeting minutes. Motion to approve.
Second.
And a second, all in favor? Aye. Next, we're on to board reports. Supervisor's report from
Yes,
Mr. Slater.
last Wednesday.
Yes, last Wednesday, the TCO
Proposed
reviewed
Dollar
and
General
approved
Marketplace,
a
near the
Dollar
corner
General
of
Marketplace
Sterrett
near the
Road
corner
and
of
Route 11.
Sterrett Road
It's vacant property
and
now,
Route
proposed to
11.
be subdivided.
It's
and a
vacant
Dollar
property
General
now,
Marketplace
proposed to be
to be
subdivided
constructed.
and a Dollar
The
General
second
Marketplace
project
to
we
be
had
constructed.
was
The second project
proposed
we had
7-Eleven,
was a proposed
that will be
7-Eleven.
at the former Aunt Sarah's
That will
Pancake
be at the
House,
former
the
Aunt Sarah's
Timber Ridge
Pancake
exit.
House.
The Pancake House will be
Timber Ridge
raised.
exit. The
And
Pancake House will be
I think it's
raised.
4,500
And
square foot
a
building will
building
be there with a 4 gas pumps as far as BP. The Board of Supervisors report at their last meeting, 2 planning commission actions. They approved the RAL application, Brownsburg, as recommended by the planning commission with the acceptance of the proffers. And they did the same with the Mountain Valley Rental C LLC off of Long Hollow Road. Approved it as recommended by the planning commission with the acceptance.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 5 is Modine Manufacturing Company, 360 Collierstown Road, Lexington, Virginia, 24450. Application for a commercial site plan review. This is not a public hearing. Staff and the applicant will be presenting.
Yes, bear with me here, and I have the.
Bear with me here, and I have the
digitally,
entire package digitally, of course.
Package.
I'm gonna pull up the package.
Modine is, of course, located off of
Modine is, of course, located off of 251 Collierstown Road. Mr. Russ Orson is here representing the project. Without further ado, I'll pull this up if you want to come on up.
Absolutely.
I can pull up the full package.
It's a pretty pedestrian site plan, but it's a pretty exciting project. Modine, of course, makes cooling units, large cooling units, especially for data centers, and there's a big demand for that. And so we are fortunate to have them here in the county building those things.
Out there at, on 251.
They're expanding out there.
This plan actually encompasses a few phases that they hope to do over the next year or two.
Phases that they hope to do over the next year or
To put it
two.
all in one plan.
We figured it best to put it all in one
They may not build
plan,
it all.
but they may not
this
build
summer.
it all this summer.
On C200, which you guys probably have, this is behind the building. You can
C200,
see the
which you
existing
guys
building
probably
towards the
have.
bottom of the sheet.
This
So
is behind the building. You can see the existing
as you
building
stand in the
towards
road
the
and
bottom of
walk.
the sheet. So
And
this is behind
it's
the
a
building.
large lay down
as you stand in the
area
road and
for
look.
their,
And it's a large
product
lay down
where they
area
can put it
for
out there
their
and ship it from that location.
product where they can
and
put it out there
shows
and
up
then
on your
ship
plan
it.
as phase
from
2
that
concrete
location.
lay down parking area.
And it shows up on your plan as phase 2 concrete lay down parking area. The buildings to the left
Facilities for the units
are,
after they've been assembled
testing
inside the main building.
facilities for
to
the
move
units
out
after
to
they come
these
to these buildings or
buildings,
will be moved out to these buildings for testing.
They're probably going to build
one of those buildings, the phase 1 building first, and then as they move ahead, what we show as phase 3 building will follow. They've also contemplated some other work that's not shown on here. So if it goes forward, we'll have to come back to you for separate work that certainly I hope they move forward with. So it's pretty exciting stuff for them. Pretty pedestrian site plan. Lots of stormwater management because of all the impervious areas. So you can see the large stormwater management facility that we've done with phase 1. And then on sheet 12 of 12, the landscaping plan, which is C400, we have to buffer because we're now against ag AT, I believe. And so industrial to AT causes the need for that buffer that we're proposing on the landscaping plan. It won't affect VDOT at all, thank goodness. Pretty straightforward stuff. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Have any questions?
Just one point of clarification, this is surrounded by A2 agricultural, same buffer, but A2.
Very good, thank you. It's pretty clear to me. It's pretty easy plan, so, okay, thank you. Do we have any questions?
It does require a motion.
Motion to approve as submitted.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. And the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we are item number 6, Bella Property 8 LLC, 686 Long Hollow Road, Buena Vista, Virginia, 24416. Application for a zoning map amendment to rezone a portion of a parcel from the general residential R1 zoning district to the general business B1 zoning district.
I just emailed one of the applicants, and there is still a nasty echo, but we're gonna on their end, but we're gonna try to work through this. I apologize on that. If I could share my screen. All right, this is a very short 2-slide PowerPoint. The property is owned by Bella Property 8 LLC. This is a zoning map amendment from the general residential zoning district to the general business zoning district. A little bit about the property itself. is property under consideration is owned by Bella Properties 8 LLC, tax map 77-A-5-A. The tract consists of approximately 0.422 acres, and that's per recorded survey. Per tax records is actually zeroed out, which is not uncommon for a parcel of this age of less than an acre. Back in the day, if you will, they just zeroed it out. Currently, the property is split zoned, essentially between the business zone and the residential on this map. The residential is indicated in yellow, and the business zone is indicated in the burgundy. So the property is located here. The existing Pinky's convenience store is located here, and ironically enough, per zoning, the vacant portion of the Pinky store, the Pinky parcel, I should say, is zoned business, and the store itself is zoned residential. So this is a corrective rezoning, if you will, to bring the property into compliance. With that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Barney Horrell, engineer on the property, and to talk about the purpose of the rezoning and sort of plans moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Slade. My name is Barney Horrell. I'm with Brushy Mountain Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of the owner. This is a real simple case, don't worry much. Chris explained it pretty well. It's just a split zoning. The reason this came to everybody's attention is that the new owner of the property is looking at cleaning the building up a little bit and then possibly adding a real small little addition for some additional storage cooler space on the side of the building. So site plan for that will be forthcoming. But before we can hit that, we realize the split zone, we need to get that corrected. So
Thank you.
I'll answer any questions if you have.
Looks pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, go ahead. Hang on. Oh, no, hang on just a second. This has to go to public.
That's
public
correct.
hearing, yeah. So at this time, we're going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone physically present who would like to speak?
No one has signed up, but we'll recognize anyone at this time.
Okay, we'll now take comments via computer and phone. At this time, I'll ask staff, are there any citizens that would like to make comments from Zoom?
There are no hands raised.
No phone. Okay, with no further comments, we will close the public hearing. Bring it back to the board. This looks pretty straightforward to me. It seems like we need to just clear up this, so go ahead.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of Supervisors the rezoning of tax map number 77A-5-A located on the east side of the Long Hollow Road, Route 631, identified as tax map number 77A-5-A from the general residential R1 zoning district to the general business B1 zoning district be approved.
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
And the motion passes. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda, Virginia Electric and Power Company. Nope, wrong, sorry. Back up one. Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship, DBA, The Bridge Christian Academy, 21 Gilmore's Mill Road, Natural Bridge Station, Virginia, 24579. Application to amend a condition associated with the special exception permit for the existing private school in the general residential zoning district.
All right, y'all most likely remember this project. It was one of several many private schools that came to fruition under the same time frame. This one is the Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship, DBA, the Bridge Christian Academy. The property is under consideration, is owned by the Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship, further identified as tax map number 113E1-1-B3 and 113-E-1-B4. The Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship tracts consist of approximately 7 acres located in the residential zoning district. Per section 604.03-04, the regulations, private schools are used by special exception in the R1 zoning district. The applicant, the Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship, DBA, the Bridge Academy, is the applicant. On August 22nd, 2022, the Board of Supervisors approved the special exception permit with the following conditions. Number one, the school facility is limited in existing buildings and surrounding property for outdoor activities. Number two, total number exceeds students not to exceed 50. Number three, the school will be limited to day students only, no boarding students. Number four, the school will be limited to kindergarten through 12th grades. Number five, all trash should be taken directly to the landfill and not the county collection centers or county green boxes. Number six, lighting shall be in compliance with 1303 of the county Rockbridge Land Development Regulations. And number seven, approval contingent upon VDOT, Virginia Department of Transportation, Health Department, Building Department, and Rockbridge County Office Fire Rescue Emergency Management approvals and compliance with the Department of Education. So as far as the application tonight, as indicated by Chairman Hennis, the one condition that's under consideration is per condition number 2 of the current special exception permit, the total number of students cannot exceed 50 students. The pending application, tonight's application, I should say, is to amend the conditions to allow for up to 100 students. And so you may realize in the package, I included the notice of public hearing, and the way it was drafted, it was not to exceed 100. So anything less than 100 would be approvable, if you will, through the notice of public hearing. With that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Mr. Wes Galford with the school to review the additional details and the need for the application. Come on up. And if needed, we can pull this up on the map.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you for your time. I didn't expect to really be here this soon. We actually thought that it was going to be about a 5-year plan for us. I'm very structure oriented, so we always create structure before we grow into the structure. At this time, we are borderline of breaking that 50 barrier. I want to be as good as my word to come and to seek approval for a greater number and make sure we're in compliance with you guys. We're having a phenomenal year. Last year was a great year. We are within just a few steps of reaching our national accreditation, and it's been a hard process, but we've almost made it there. So we're making impacts in lives, and that's a big deal. So anyway, anybody have a question, I'm going to answer.
If you're doubling the number of students, do you have any issues with drop-offs and traffic congestion? The elementary school is just down the road too. Just wondering if you have some of your older students that drive and park there for the day.
We, at this point, we do not have, we do have a 29 passenger bus that we have just purchased that should be in transit this year. With that being said, we still make the trip from Lexington, and we make 2 stops in Lexington. As far as traffic goes, we've had no issues in the past, and even if we did, we release them slow enough that it's not as influx onto the highway.
What are the grade levels you currently have?
K through 12.
Okay, so you do have all the way. Okay, great. Well,
We
we're
actually
happy
have,
that you've grown.
I think 5 or 6, maybe 7 seniors this year.
Great.
So it's exciting.
Congratulations. Question?
If in your current facilities, if you had 100 students, would you have to expand anything, or could you handle 150 students? I mean, this is a hypothetical question.
Hypothetically, we could probably do about 300.
Got plenty of space with what you have without having to expand
Yes, ma'am.
facilities. Okay. Good to know.
And y'all are on public water, but private sewage, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I think we've got all of our questions answered, and unless you have something else. Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate your
Thank you.
time. Okay. Staff, do you have anything else to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay. At this time, we're going to,
I just have a question.
okay, go ahead.
Chris. Chris.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Would the same thing apply, let's say, 2 years from now, and now it's approaching 100, and they want to go to 200? It would just be the same thing?
It would, yes. Yes. Any amendment to the existing conditions is the same process as the original approval process or this process, if you will.
Okay. At this time, we're going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone physically present who would like to speak?
There's no one signed up at this, time, but we'll recognize anyone that'd like to speak at this time.
Okay, we'll now take comments via computer and phone. At this time, I'll ask staff if there are any citizens that would like to make comments from the Zoom.
Not seeing any hands raised.
And nothing from the phone.
No, ma'am.
Okay, no further comments. We will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. It's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Okay, go for it.
I make a motion to recommend to the Board of Supervisors that the special exception permit application to increase the number of students associated with the Bridge Christian Academy be modified to the following condition. 1, total number of students not to exceed up to 100. Furthermore, all other conditions to remain in full effect.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And the motion passes. Thank you. Good luck. Looks like you're doing good things. Item number 8, Virginia Electric and Power Company, DBA Dominion Energy, Virginia, 5000 Dominion Boulevard, 3rd floor, Glen Allen, Virginia, 23060. Application for a special exception permit in order to rebuild a portion of their 115 kV transmission line that runs west from the Balcony Falls substation located at 4115 Glasgow Highway, Glasgow, Virginia, 24555 to the Rockbridge Amherst County line. Have a presentation.
Yes, I just have we have Ben Jackson on the line and Lane Carr both representing the project. With that, I'd just like to ask Ben, and I apologize when Mr. Kramer was asking me a question, I was emailing Mr. Jackson. He's the one who informed us that was a nasty echo. Is there still a nasty echo, Mr. Jackson?
No, can you hear me?
There might not be because we can't hear you.
How about now?
Mr. Jackson, we're going to try something a little bit different. Can I give you a call and put you on speakerphone?
Sure.
Let me make sure I got it.
Ben, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Lane, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
All right, let's try this. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Is that acceptable to y'all?
Correct.
Yeah, I apologize. We had some technical difficulties at the very beginning. That's obviously going through the entire meeting. But we can hear you well. You are able to, we can see you well. We can hear you through the phone. You are able to share your screen. Before I turn the floor over to you, I'll do a brief overview of the project. I don't have a formal PowerPoint presentation, but what we're dealing with is a rebuild of a 115 kW transmission line in the southern part of the county. Just to get everyone oriented, and then I'll turn the floor over to Ben. This is the Balcony Falls substation. You may recall we recently went through a major remodel, if you will, or approved a major rehab of that. It's an aging facility, as well as these transmission lines. And the purpose of it is obviously to bring it up to the current date. With that, I'll stop sharing my screen, and Ben, I think you can share your screen if needed, or better yet, why don't I do this? While you talk, I'll share the planning commission package. That might be the easiest thing as far as having technical difficulties this evening.
I've got my screen pulled up and ready to share if you like.
Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. We can see it. Yes, we can see it well.
Very good. Very good. Well, I appreciate that echo is gone. Thanks for the help there. Like Mr. Slade said, it's Ben Jackson. I'm a consultant for Kimberly Warren here tonight on behalf of Dominion Energy. So good evening. Appreciate y'all's time. Like Chris said, the name of this project is the Balcony Falls Kimmer Transmission Line Rebuild Project. This is part of a larger project, but what we're focused on here is just the portion that's within Rockbridge County, our southern end of the county. right there, a little bit east of Glasgow, right there on Route 501. So as you can see on the screen here, what we are looking at, what the scope of work is for this special use application is a series of 5 new transmission structures, actually 1 brand new and 4 replacements. I'll go left to right here on the screen and provide a short description of each. Starting at the west, there is 1 structure here, 26/96. That is slightly west of the existing Balcony Falls substation, which, as Chris mentioned, we were in front of you guys, I believe, 2 years ago during peak COVID times, presenting on that project. And this is a part of that project, but this is the linear component of that. So we're going to be replacing the existing structure there with this 3-pole representative structure here. I'll show some graphics on the next 2 slides that paint a better picture of what that looks like from a closer view. Going to the east, just east of the existing substation, we've got another replacement structure here. Going to the east, another one here, 141.2. Further down Route 501, got another one, 141.3. And then lastly, almost as you get to the Amherst County line, the last structure, 141.3A, that is a new structure. The other 4 are replacements. For some height comparisons, using roundabout numbers, all of the existing structures are about 70 to 80 feet, and the proposed structures will be a bit taller, 10 to 20 feet taller, about 80, 90 up to 100 feet, but very similar in function. Here, in terms of appearance, this really paints a picture, paints 1,000 words here. The existing structure you see to the left is what we would call a typical steel lattice tower. It has the galvanized silver finish that we're all very accustomed to seeing. The proposed replacement structures to the right here on the screen have a weathering steel appearance. Brown in nature, blends in with the surrounding landscape a little bit better. I think it's a superior aesthetic. So all the proposed structures will have that finish. And lastly, this is a kind of a general height diagram. What does 75 feet look like? What does 100 feet look like? Graphically, you can see that here as it compares to a mature tree or a house or a truck or what have you. And like I mentioned, the proposed structures will be 10 to 20 feet taller on average than the existing structures. I should note that the proposed structures are monopoles, meaning a single pole with arms, and the existing structures are your 4-leg lattice towers, which I would say are a little more unsightly. So there is some aesthetic appearance there. Go back to the overall here. Reason for the project, the infrastructure's aging, it's about 100 years old, and it's just in need of an upgrade, in need of replacement. The work is scheduled to take place, I believe, sometime in 2024. I should note there's some Dominion representatives on the phone and in person, I believe, that can probably provide some more detail or granularity on that information if needed. But I believe the work is scheduled for 2024 to start. That's about all I had, Chris. Are there any questions for me or for the Dominion folks on the line?
Any questions up here?
I had one question. I appreciate the weathering steel switch from the galvanized metal. I think that will blend in a whole lot better. Oh, I can't. Okay. Had a question on the wire itself. Will you all be speccing non-reflective conductors, or is it just the standard for this section?
Just Bob, I defer to Bob on that one. Chris, you may have to promote him into Zoom.
Well, yeah, I can try. My concern is that he's going to have that same chat, but bear with me here. If you could.
Yeah, I can answer that. Yes. Yes, we are pursuing the declared option for the conductor. We've been working with the Forest Service on that request.
Lane, you are a panelist. If Ms. Carr, you are a panelist, you might be able to speak
Yep, I'm trying. Can you hear me?
I can hear you through my headset.
Okay, so so maybe you could just relay that.
I
yes.
apologize on our behalf on this thing. We started with technical difficulties as I run through the meeting.
Maybe she could answer the question, and since he can hear her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Information to me, I'll relay it to you guys.
Fair enough. We appreciate it.
Yes,
You
Ben,
can
we are
sign.
pursuing the declared option. We've been working through that with the Forest Service as well. That request came from them also. So yes.
Okay, very good. Yes, the maintenance committee is going to pursue the declared option for the conductor wire.
And not reflective, as we said.
Yes,
Yes.
declared.
Good.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Dominion or for?
That answers your question, Chris.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions the plan commission have?
No?
Not at this time.
Okay. Are we ready for the public hearing then?
You are, yes, ma'am.
All right. At this time, we are going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone physically present who would like to speak?
There's no one signed up at this. There's no one signed up this time, but we'll recognize anyone who'd like to speak.
Okay, we'll now take comments by computer and phone. At this time, I'll ask staff if there are any citizens that would like to make a comment from Zoom
There are no hands raised.
and the phone.
No, ma'am.
Okay, with no further comments, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. Questions or comments or discussion here? Pretty clear.
Yep.
Okay,
I got it.
you got it.
I make a motion to recommend to the Board of Supervisors that the special exception permit to rebuild and make an addition to the 115 kilowatt power transmission line from west of the existing balcony Falls substation to the Rockbridge Amherst County line in the agricultural and general uses A-2 zoning district per LDR section 603.03-9. Public utilities be approved with the following condition. 1, substantial compliance with location, heights, and tower materials as shown on the development plan titled Balcony Falls Skimmer Rebuild Project 1, Rockbridge County Structure Heights, showing the proposed rebuild for 26/296 asterisk 141 /1, 141/2, 141/3, and 141/3A.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
A second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. On to agenda item number 9, Rockbridge County 150 South Main Street, Lexington, Virginia 24450. Application for a zoning text amendment to modify section 302 definitions in section 605 general industrial I-1 zoning district of the regulations.
Yes, bear with me here. I have a couple of very brief PowerPoints for y'all on these zoning text amendments. And the first one, I apologize, is the train station. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right, as previously discussed, we have a landowner in the Goshen area that is essentially making plans to develop a tourist-oriented train similar to what they have in Cass, Virginia. I think I explained Cass, West Virginia. Last month, I think I explained that. And it would be essentially a transient, tourist-oriented train ride from Goshen to Stanton and back, possibly beyond. I think that's the schedule now. With that being said, I would like to share my screen. So what the proposal does is it's defines, we have no provisions. I think we talked about this last time. We have provisions for truck stops in industrial zoning districts, different other, I think even bus stations, something like that, and similar uses. But we have no provisions for train stations in any zoning district. With that being said, the proposed, as shown in your package, I'm going to start from the beginning. This is a zoning text amendment. So what we're proposing to do is add section 607.02-25 that states train station and or train depot. That would be a permitted use in the industrial zoning district. And then we're proposing to add the definition under 302.217A train station and 302.217B train depot. So the definition of a train, the proposed definition of the train station is a railway facility or area where trains stop to unload or load passengers or freight with associated parking area and may include ticket offices, restaurant, luggage check-in facilities, and similar uses. Then the train depot, so that obviously would take care of the passengers or freight. The train depot would more be the mechanic side of things, repair, maintenance, that type of thing, under 302.271B train depot, a place where locomotives and or train cars are housed when not in use and or repairs and maintenance occur. With that being said, this is a public hearing, and so we'll turn the floor back over to the chair.
Okay, at this time, we're going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone physically present who would like to speak?
There is no one signed up, but we will recognize anyone at this time.
Okay, I will now make comments via computer and phone. Take comments via computer or phone. Do we have any Zoom or phone calls?
We are down to 0. So
Okay.
that
No
means
further comments. We
comments.
will close the public hearing. Bring it back to the board. I mean, this is what we asked them to do. They've added it. They seem pretty clear. Train stations and train depots.
Okay, I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of Supervisors that the proposed text amendments to LDR section 302.00 to add a definition for train station and a definition for train depot, to add section 607.02-25 to allow train station and or train depot as a permitted use in the general industrial district I-1 be approved.
Okay, we have a motion. A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion passes. We are moving on to agenda item 10, Rockbridge County 150 South Main Street, Lexington, Virginia, application for a zoning text amendment to modify section 608 flood hazard FH-1 overlay district of the regulations.
So as discussed, as far as several many planning commission meetings, currently special events are used by special exception in the agricultural zone. With that being said, we deal with a floodplain overlay, which the underlying zoning still is in place. So it'd be a special exception for the special events. And then you have an overlay of a floodplain. And in some of those, and we'll just go ahead and start this one. Per 608.11-1, there's permitted uses in the floodway. And then 608.11-2, there's uses by special exception. So there was a variety of uses by special exception in the floodway, but there was no provisions, in my opinion, there was no provisions for a special event, meaning weddings, receptions, or unions, as defined, I should say. With that being said, what this would do would provide for special events by special exception that could run concurrently with the underlying zoning district. So in reality, in practice, I should say, one would be applying, someone wanted to open and operate a wedding event venue or special event venue in an agricultural zoning district in the floodway, he or she would be applying for 2 special exceptions that would run simultaneously. One would be for the underlying A2 zoning district, and the second one would be for the floodway. So a fairly simple, super simple zoning text amendment. In fact, the color copier didn't even pick it up, and so we had to go back over. And you'll notice in under 5, we did think it was an appropriate place to put temporary uses such as circus, carnivals, the addition of special events, and similar activities. There was some discussion on the private landowner side and even the planning commission. Could the special events be, considered a similar activity? I was not comfortable with that interpretation, so I felt the best way to proceed, if the planning commission desired so, would be to recommend approval of the zoning text amendment to further clarify special events in the floodway.
Okay,
Special events as defined, I should say.
thank you. At this time, we're going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here physically who would like to speak? See anyone? We'll now take comments via computer or phone. And there's no one online, right?
That's correct. That's still the case.
So with no further comments, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board.
I got it.
Okay.
I make a motion to recommend to the Board of Supervisors that the proposed text amendments to LDR Section 608.11-2 to add the provision to provide for special events as a use by special exception in the floodway be approved.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the zoning text amendment recommendation is approved. Number 11, Rockbridge County, 150 South Main Street, Lexington, Virginia, 24450. Application for a zoning text amendment to modify Section 302 definitions and Section 702 additional buildings on single lot of the regulations.
Yes, as reported last 2 months, we've talked about, we've talked about provisions for adding accessory dwelling units, ADUs, bona fide garage apartments, and bona fide guest houses. With that being said, just due to staff timing, workload, et cetera, we were only able to essentially deal with the garage apartment dwellings. And so we are very interested in coming back at a later date and defining accessory dwelling units, having some provisions for them, that type of thing. But this has been a need, in my opinion, this has been a need for Rockbridge County for quite some time. And I think I reported between the last two planning commissions, we probably had 5 to 10 phone calls on this very issue. So there's many people tracking this to see where we go with it. So I think it's obviously a need. We currently allow for additional dwellings on a single lot, but they have to be, the arrangement is such an additional dwelling in such a manner that if the lot of our parcel is ever subdivided, no substandard are created in terms of area and setback requirements. So what this proposed zoning text amendment does is defines garage/apartments as a structure above a private garage containing one dwelling unit, provided that the square footage of the garage and apartment dwelling is less than that of the primary dwelling. And so what that means is the garage and apartment would have to be less square footage than the primary dwelling. And so we talked about it before. At the last meeting, we're proposing 702.01-4 to read, and this goes into that additional dwellings on a single lot, to read garage apartments/dwellings are required to meet the area and exterior setback requirements as a primary dwelling for the underlying zoning district. Garage/apartments that do not meet the internal setback requirements between the existing dwelling and the garage/apartment shall be considered an accessory structure. Only one garage apartment/dwelling shall be located on any single parcel of land. So I think that's some of the comments that the planning commission had made last month. I do want to note that staff did modify the language of the garage apartment to clarify that we added on the last sentence, the garage and apartment dwelling is less than that of the primary dwelling, because there was an interpretation that, is it the garage apartment, or the entire structure that has to be smaller than. So under the current interpretation, or excuse me, how it's written, and under the current interpretation, it would be the garage and the apartment is less than that of the primary dwelling.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Chris?
I got a hypothetical question.
Okay.
Let's say that you've got a property and you've got a structure that basically it's unoccupied and it can't be occupied. Small, let's say it's 1,200 square feet. And somebody comes in and they say, we want to take advantage of this. So the current structure is a tear down. Does that mean that they can only replace the tear down with 1,200 square feet, and then the ancillary one has got smaller than that?
No, to answer your question, it depends on a couple variables with drain fields and setbacks, that type of thing. But let's say the setbacks are fine, drain field fine, we don't have any issues there. They could tear down the 1,200 square foot dwelling and do a single wide manufactured home in an agricultural zoning district, or a 5,500 square foot home. And then that would have to be less. Then the garage and the apartment would have to be less than the new proposed building, or the new building, essentially.
So is it possible that the tear down could become the accessory if the way the lot's set up?
Possibly. You would have to have the primary dwelling in order to have the garage/apartment as an accessory structure.
If the newest building structure would be the primary and the larger, you couldn't do that?
You could do that.
And then the old structure that's a tear down.
Comes the garage
Yeah,
apartment.
okay, I got it.
Oh, yeah, no, you could do that. Yes, sir. I'm following you. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
I mean, with proper building permit approvals, everything else. Yes, sir.
Okay. At this time, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here physically who would like to speak?
There are no one signed up, but we'll recognize anyone at this time.
Okay, we'll now take comments via computer and phone. And I don't think we have anybody on either.
We're still empty crew. Yes.
Okay. So with no further comment, we're going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. Any questions, comments on that one?
No.
Okay.
My
Go ahead.
turn. I make a motion to recommend to the Board of Supervisors that the proposed text amendments to LDR Section 302.00 to add a definition for garage apartment dwelling, to add Section 702.01-4 to add provisions for a garage apartment dwelling be approved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and the motion passes. Okay, we are on to agenda item number 12, which is the comprehensive plan update discussion.
So we do not have, Vivica has been working diligently as always on the comprehensive plan. One thing that I will report that we ran into this month is, it was actually identified in the Community Development Committee update, were some inconsistencies in the population. That Natural Bridge was way smaller than it's supposed to be as far as the consensus, the U.S. Census data, and other magisterial districts were larger by a significant number. It really didn't make any sense to us. We were thinking, okay, well, there's some error there, and there certainly was an error. The Natural Bridge magisterial district, as shown on the census mapping, is probably half, if not less than what it's supposed to be. So we have reached out to Vivica and the county administrator, Spencer Shooter, has reached out to the Weldon Cooper Center, who has essentially a direct connection with the Census Bureau, and there's a discussion on what to do now that this deficiency or inaccurate information has been identified. How do we correct it? And it doesn't seem, just based on today's email, it's not going to be, of course, working with the Census Bureau, it's not going to be an overnight fix. And so we're somewhat, we'll see how we proceed forward, because it's not only the population chapter, it's also the housing chapter, it's also a whole lot of different chapters that we utilize that census information on.
Sure.
With that being said, Vivica is still plugging away on the community facilities chapter, working with umpteen different organizations through the Commonwealth and state, getting some of that information. So I'm anticipating some updates next month on the community facilities chapter. The last update is we have a draft agreement with the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission to take over essentially a turnkey operation for our transportation chapter. They have done that in the past. They have transportation planners on staff at the CSPDC. They've utilized, it's not uncommon for them to work on transportation chapters and other chapters for localities. So that draft agreement will go in front of the Board of Supervisors at their next meeting. I think it's July 24th for that agreement, and then we'll propel that forward and give them the green light. So essentially, after we, correct me if I'm wrong, because after we finalize the community facilities chapter, the two chapters we have left is the transportation chapter, which it says is on a turnkey operation from the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission, and we have the land use chapter. Of course, as reported, last 6 to 8 months, the land use chapter is a lot of the information, is a lot of the public involvement. It's a lot of what gets citizens involved, more so than the history of the population, the housing, economy, that type of thing. So not much to report this time, but hopefully we're definitely keep on spinning wheels, and we'll have the community facilities chapter in the near future, and then really start working on the land use chapter as well.
Okay, thank you. Last item on the agenda is Community Development Committee update.
Yeah, so we had a community development community development committee meeting in June, and it went well. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hour meeting, and we reviewed a lot of the community facility. Or no, we did not review. We reviewed the housing, and that's where the deficiency of the Natural Bridge was identified. That type of thing. But other than that,
we did talk about what the planning commission did. We talked about what the two applications that were coming up. And so in my opinion, it is a very worthwhile exercise. Of course, two planning commission members, two board of supervisors, and staff, planning and zoning staff get together once a month for the committee. And so I found it to be beneficial in the past and hopefully it's moving forward.
I was at the RCPSA meeting last night, and they were talking about, I guess, the people who are doing the hotel over behind. No, not true.
The resident area.
There've been a lot of issues there, like they haven't submitted their plans to the water authority and some different things that they run into a lot of issues, like they're trying to blast near pipes that are.
There is a lot of moving parts to that. We knew there were going to be a lot of moving parts to that particular project. Per the plans, there was a 25-foot tall retaining wall associated with the back right corner, if you will, and that's the corner closest to the bypass exit. There's also some, so VDOT was involved, or has been involved in the blasting plan, obviously, associated with the exit ramp for the bypass. And then more particularly, or equally important, I should say, is the MSA, the Mortgage Service Authority, has been involved because they have some old, I don't think it's cast iron, I think it's, I can't remember, asbestos pipe or something. And so they were very concerned on blasting that type of thing. So we're all working together. I've had some email correspondence with the engineer as of last week. Matter of fact, it was last week that I sent them some follow-up information. So as far as we know, that project is progressing. We did hit a couple hiccups along the way on the VDOT and MSA pipe issue.
And Chick-fil-A has, I understand, started.
Yes, we understand Chick-fil-A closed a couple Fridays ago, and it's my understanding they have started construction.
Okay, very good. So it looks like those are all moving ahead then.
It is. Like I said, it's been exciting. You know, we're fortunate, Rockbridge County is fortunate not to have a lot of vacant commercial buildings, but it has been interested in seeing the new commercial, which of course we haven't seen. We've seen some redesigns and some rebuilds and remodels, but we haven't seen this excavation ground up like we were saying.
I understand. I think they said Chick-fil-A, they were aiming for maybe a December 6th or 7th, somewhere in their opening.
I believe that's the target.
Pretty fast project. So great.
We'll see.
Yes, great. So now we need a motion to adjourn.
I make motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Very well done.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you all for dealing with the technical difficulties there
I
at
mean, you
front.
didn't know that. Was that on your job resume that you had to?
Well, it's a restart. So some sort of app was
Oh.
restarted,
I
and
mean-
it just wasn't the same format.
My husband says all the time, he's like, I gotta get